CTV News with Matt Gilmore.
Good evening. It's a guilty verdict for Luciano Fratellin. He's the Montreal man accused of killing his 9-year-old daughter, Melina. Her body was found in upstate New York last summer. This morning, Fratellin told the judge he would not testify, ending his defense. The jury reached the verdict in just a few hours. Guilty of second-degree murder, a charge that carries a maximum sentence in New York of life in prison. The girl and her father were on vacation in upstate New York when Fratellin reported his daughter missing. Her body was found the next day near Ticonderoga. A second cat has contracted rabies from a raccoon in the Montérégie. 3 people in Saint Anisette are receiving preventative treatment after coming into contact with the animal. The infected cat was discovered on July 31st, 1 week after a first cat was infected, roughly 20 kilometers east in Godmanchester. Efforts are underway to get the outbreak under control. 139 cases of raccoon rabies have been reported so far this year. The disease is fatal in both animals and humans once symptoms appear. Paramedics with Urgence Santé are in the process of voting on a new tentative agreement, but already it seems some are unhappy with the deal. The Canadian press is reporting both unions in Montreal and Laval have already rejected the deal. It doesn't mean the agreement is dead just yet. There are 18 local unions voting. If a majority of locals and a majority of members vote for the deal, it will go into effect across the board. The CSN union is not commenting until all the votes are counted, and that could take until the end of the week. The head of the Montreal Police will meet with people in Montreal North tomorrow for a public meeting to address allegations of racism. 2 officers have been suspended and 14 others reassigned. Kelly Gregg reports.
There have been protests and questions about the actions of Montreal police. Tomorrow night, a chance for answers.
We're not too hopeful in the sense that we know things are out of our control, and we've been asking the same thing over and over again.
In June, 2 officers from Station 39 in Montreal North were suspended and 14 others reassigned after allegations of racism towards the community they serve.
Enough information has been gathered to justify major administrative measures.
But since then, little information has come out. An internal SPM video from June applauded the officers who came forward with the allegations. But Anne-Victoria Telemac with the community group Hoodstock says it shouldn't take a whistleblower to have these issues be taken seriously.
It's not just when the police complain about the police that there's a change. You know, we also want the citizens of the city to be heard.
And she adds that could be difficult, considering the meeting will be at City Hall in Old Montreal.
We don't know what to expect because it's far from the people that live in Montreal North. We don't know if they're going to be there.
According to the police agenda for the meeting, topics will include to instill a real culture change, encouraging internal and external denunciations, and creating a response plan in collaboration with the public and partners. There have been inquiries into police actions before, including the 2008 killing of Freddie Villanueva, which found systemic issues with police oversight.
Nothing really changed 18 years ago compared to today. It's the same energy, it's the same environment, and it's the same approach.
In 2024, Quebec's Superior Court ruled racial profiling is a systemic issue in the force. While Telemac acknowledges just having the meeting is a positive step, she's not banking on having any new answers to a problem she says has been around for decades. Kelly Gregg, CTV News.
There were reports of gunshots last night in the Southwest Borough. Police were called just after 11:30 to an area around Galt and Hadley. They found a car riddled with bullet holes. Police are now going through surveillance video. And the arson squad is investigating after an early morning fire at a restaurant on Jean Talon. Police say someone smashed a window at the restaurant Pho Vietnam and threw in a firebomb. Damage was limited to the front of the building and there were no injuries. Well, Rockland Center has changed hands and at a very, very low price. The mall was just sold for $1. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil explains why.
$1. That's the price listed on the deed for the sale of Rockland Center. But the low price tag doesn't tell the whole story. The 67-year-old shopping center is now controlled by a numbered company linked to developer André Dudac, who also runs Jadco Real Estate. The property is now valued by the city at about $115 million. That's down from $139 million in 2021. So why would a property valued in the millions change hands for a loonie? Real estate market analyst Mitch Strominger tells us it might be the result of what he calls a share sell.
It's when a company creates a sort of a shell company or a special purpose vehicle, if you will. This numbered company is the owner of this particular real estate asset.
That type of deal can also keep existing debt, leases, and other liabilities in place, and it can have tax implications.
You have sort of capital gains taxes and other types of tax considerations. Some of those can be mitigated or reduced.
But for people who shop here, the bigger question is what comes next.
New people, new staff, new everything. Yeah, it will be so excited.
They might want to add some new stores, some more restaurants. But overall, it's good.
Malls aren't what they used to be, she says. There's not much to see here anymore, and it's sad. But change at Rockland could mean more than new stores. There's already a history of bigger plans for the site. A 2020 proposal included condos, townhouses, offices, transit, and green space. But resident pushback and a change in town administration put that plan on ice. Now, some residents worry a new owner could bring those kinds of changes back to the table.
They say a lot of things. They're going to close it, they're going to put houses, apartments. That's going to be very sad.
More condos, more townhouses. That's not right. This should definitely, TMR should hold on to Rockland. It's an important part of our community.
Jadco in the town of Mount Royal declined our request for comment. We also reached out to Cominar, but didn't get a response in time for this broadcast. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
A well-known Quebec fast food chain is coming to Montreal. Ashton is famous in Quebec City for its poutine. It's entering the Montreal market with an outlet at the Complexe Desjardins. The last time they tried to open in Montreal was in the 1980s, and it didn't go so well. They hope to do better this time.
We don't have any frozen products. We don't have any freezers at all in our restaurants. Everything's made fresh, is made to order. So when it comes to our potatoes, they come from Ile d'Orléans. They're cut on site every single day. Cheese curds is delivered 7 days a week at all our locations. And our beef for our burgers is 100% from Quebec. So when you come to Ashton's, you guarantee to eat fresh, and that is essentially our promise.
The owners of the Ashton chain bought La Banquise, a Montreal chain, about a year and a half ago. Well, it's been a stormy summer, and while some are complaining, Quebec farmers certainly are not. It's a plentiful harvest, especially for corn. Here's Christine Long.
We did nearly 2,000 dozen corn this past weekend.
Corn sales at Quinn Farm in Notre-Dame-de-l'Île-Perrot are brisk. In fact, everything is ripening and ready for harvest.
Blueberry picking, we also went tomato picking. There are also some jalapenos.
Yep, we got those.
Yet, it's the sweet corn that is most popular these days.
For some reason this year with the cool weather, it all just kind of stagnated, and then boom, they're all ready at the same time.
Fields are being harvested at a pace, and the prices are coming down.
At the beginning of the season, we were $13 a dozen. Now we're down to 10, and next week we're probably going to go down a little bit more and move more corn, more volume.
At their on-site market, it's $13 for 14 ears of corn.
We do a farmer's dozen here, 14 to the dozen for anyone coming to the farm here.
In Saint-Jacques-de-Mineur, le roi de maïs sucré, Jean-Yves Desnaux, says the corn is sweeter than last year because of the weather. Plus, his crops are all ready to harvest at the same time. $9 for 13 ears of corn, he says, at the public markets he sells to, and that includes his fuel delivery costs.
So I'd say they're the best in the area.
Back at Quinn Farm, clients say the corn here is worth the drive.
Beautiful. It tastes good, it's sweet, and it's easy, and it's cheap, and it's good price.
Quinn says by the time all the sweet corn is sold, it'll be apple season already. Christine Long, CTV News.
Well, Environment Canada says it's making some changes to how it's alerting us about severe weather going forward. The update launches tomorrow, and we'll be able to track severe storms with greater precision. Environment Canada says this should lead to fewer false alarms.
So with this new system, when we identify a thunderstorm that has reached severe criteria threshold or a tornado, we are able to just highlight that particular thunderstorm or tornado, and then we can draw basically an area of around that thunderstorm and its projected path.
And people on that path will then receive an extreme weather alert through the Environment Canada app. Well, still to come, a Quebecer caught up in a BC wildfire, forced to leave his home behind. In British Columbia, it's being called an unprecedented wildfire emergency. A fast-moving, out-of-control wildfire in the Okanagan has thousands under an evacuation order. Here's Andrew Johnson.
Jim Harnden and Tracy Coleman have done a lot of camping in their old van. This time in the Penticton Walmart parking lot is a little different.
We're safe, or as safe as
we're making the best of a bad situation. You know, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
They evacuated Friday night along with more than 10,000 others as flames quickly started to consume homes just west of Summerland.
The neighbor's house is burning up.
Families on the frantic drive out trying to register the destruction unfolding right in front of them.
It's like a freight train coming at you, the heat, everything. It's unexplainable.
One person, an elderly woman, died during the escape. In all, close to 20,000 people are out of their homes. That's all of Summerland and part of Peachland, communities in the heart of vacation and wine country south of Kelowna. The BC Wildfire Service says it is throwing everything it can at the fire, despite conditions limiting the use of air tankers. The fire has grown to 156 square kilometers. That's larger than the city of Vancouver. But overnight, expected strong winds did not materialize. Some evacuees are left to grieve the loss of their home.
20 years of building everything we've built to watch it go up in flames in 5 minutes. Just gone.
For Harnden, even these difficult days are a gift. He has terminal metastatic cancer of the spine.
I don't know how much time I've got, and so I just want to make the best out of it.
They're comfortable staying in their van during the evacuation as long as Jim's health holds out. He's been receiving care in hospice, where he says an end-of-life camaraderie develops with fellow patients.
Live together and tell each other stories. This is just one of them.
Their story and those of many others threatened by this wildfire could remain stuck for some time. The fire is still out of control, and officials tell us even a staggered return could be a week off if the fire can be kept away. And right now, that's still a big if. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Penticton, BC.
And a former Quebecer is among the many residents forced to flee. Carl Boucher from Chicoutimi says he saw a black plume of smoke rising over the mountains at around 5:30 p.m. Friday. He says he and his wife Mira were expecting an evacuation order to come sometime the next day, but at 2:30 a.m. they were woken up to what they call an apocalyptic scene. Their phones ringing, telling them to leave immediately.
There was no more power, no more water. And when we walked outside, it was like that moment. The smoke was so heavy, and there was the only light you see. It's the fire in the background, and yeah, we left.
It was very scary. If you were outside more than 15 minutes, you'd have a bad headache. You'd get dizzy. Like it was not pleasant at all.
Oh no, it was so thick and so filled. Like, yeah, we knew that was the right thing to do. Like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta go now.
The couple and their 3 children are now safe in Victoria and are not getting many updates on the condition of their home. Well, a Montreal man has been charged with making death threats against the Prime Minister of Canada. 51-year-old Marc Pourlier was arrested last week. Police say the alleged threats were made in a message to a senator. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Washington for another round of talks today. The tariff deadline is next week, August 19th. Here's Mike LeCouture.
As the American capital deals with another sweltering day, trade talks between Canada and the U.S. are heating up. The Minister of Canada-U.S. Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, is coming to Washington in anticipation of more meetings. Canada and the U.S. are in the middle of these trade talks. Meantime, Americans here just want to see the relationship return to normal.
Definitely don't need more tariffs. Anything, get rid of it. And if you want to start off, you can lessen it, but definitely we need to get rid of it.
I think it's horrid. I think it's terrible for our world economy. I think it's bad for Canadian economy. It's bad for American economy.
Others admit they aren't following the movement of every meeting. That's why the Canadian American Business Council launched 2 educational interactive games. One shows Canadians how the U.S. is often the source of everyday grocery items, and the other shows Americans how many states count on Canada as their top customer.
Really highlighting how important and integrated we are has been really valuable.
The CABC also commissioned a study to show the impacts of tariffs and a possible collapse of CUSMA. It shows Canada could see a $271 billion hit to the GDP over the next decade without the trade deal. In the U.S., it would be a $1 trillion loss over 10 years. But keeping it in place could see growth and more jobs.
A successful agreement would also support 137,000 additional U.S. jobs and 98,000 Canadian jobs in 2027 alone.
Burke and industry sources are cautiously optimistic after last week's meetings.
While creating meaningful opportunities.
As trade talks continue, equally complex negotiations are happening over Canada's purchase of new fighter jets and whether or not to buy the American F-35.
The question of an acquisition of that size would normally, obviously, be a point of debate or dialogue between 2 sovereign nations.
While those talks continue, there is a sense of urgency on the trade front. The U.S. has threatened a 50% tariff on a wide swath of Canadian goods if there isn't an agreement within the next 9 days. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Washington.
Meantime, Premier Christine Frechette says she's open to the idea of returning American booze to SAQ shelves.
Moi, je serais ouverte à considérer ce retour-là dans la mesure où il y a un gain qui est obtenu par le Québec.
Frechette was at an event today in Yamashish. She says she'd be willing to lift the ban on American wine and spirits, but only if the U.S. made trade concessions that would benefit Quebec. That would include eliminating tariffs on forestry products and aluminum. Across Canada, fire departments are warning about the growing risk of lithium-ion batteries. There have been several fires related to the batteries in Alberta and Ontario in recent days. Kathy Lee has more.
Started over here, but
the scars of this fire are everywhere. Fred Dennis's home in Medicine Hat, Alberta may still be standing, but it's a complete write-off.
You can see the flames up above the house.
The fire broke out on the back deck early last month. Dennis and his wife were out grocery shopping.
The worst part about all of this is we lost our dog and cat in a fire.
As they grieve their loss, news from the fire department about how the blaze started shocked them.
They figured it was a lithium-ion battery.
Dennis said that battery was in this solar light purchased online. What happened here is part of a much bigger problem countrywide. In Calgary, fire crews responded to multiple calls involving lithium-ion batteries. Not one, not 2, but at least 3 reported fires in 24 hours. 2 involved e-scooters, their lithium-ion batteries overheating while charging.
If that battery becomes compromised, it goes into what's called thermal runaway, and that's where very, very quickly that fire will accelerate and grow.
Calgary has already recorded more lithium-ion battery fires this year than last. Toronto and surrounding communities are also reporting an increase, the latest incident on the 7th floor of a high-rise.
The greatest, fastest evolving, growing public fire safety risk in the city is lithium-ion battery fires.
Experts say several factors are fueling the problem, from batteries sold online that don't meet Canadian safety standards to damaged or cheap charging cords to improper disposal of batteries or overcharging devices.
You never want to charge something beyond 100%.
Beyond public awareness, fire officials nationwide are also calling for stronger oversight of lithium-ion batteries sold unfold in Canada. Dennis hopes sharing what happened here will lead to change.
I hope they get the industry to improve what they're making.
Because he doesn't want anyone else to go through what his family has. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Still ahead, could he be the solution to CF Montreal's goal-scoring problem? A South American icon is Montreal bound.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
There were more rain delays this evening at the National Bank Open in Montreal. 4 quarterfinal matches were affected. The weather has been an unfortunate storyline throughout this year's tournament, prompting the CEO of the ATP today to say Montreal's tennis facilities need a facelift, adding a roof would help. There are plans to build a 15,000-seat covered stadium next to the existing facilities in Gerry Park, but the proposal is facing significant opposition from local groups who protested the idea yesterday afternoon. Sports analyst Meeker Gurrier says nothing is set in stone, but he believes upgrades are necessary.
It's very healthy that people protest and that they let their voice be heard, but we also have to be honest towards what is being proposed and the idea behind having a stadium with a roof, because it all comes down to that. It's been years that Tennis Canada has been asking for a roof over the IGA stadium because it makes it complicated, because we're competing with other cities, because the tournament is competing with other countries or other tournaments in countries where they have a lot of money. We're talking about Saudi Arabia, for instance, and we all know how hard it is to get back sports ownership, whether it be a team or a tournament, once it has left a city.
CF Montreal is adding some offensive firepower to its roster. There are reports striker Alexis Sanchez is set to join as a designated player. The 37-year-old Chilean has played for some of the biggest clubs in the world: Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Inter Milan. He also led his country, Chile, to back-to-back Copa America titles in 2015 and 2016. Last season, he scored 4 goals in 28 games for Sevilla in Spain. CF Montreal are currently second last in the MLS Eastern Conference.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, we spent most of Monday under a severe thunderstorm watch, and we dealt with gray skies throughout the day. Now, it's looking like Tuesday's going to shape up a lot nicer. We'll get to those details in a moment. Plus, it won't be as humid, and we are not fully done with the rain. There's at least one more rain event this week. In terms of our temperatures today, we were slightly above seasonal in terms of our overnight lows. So our daytime high was exactly where it should be. It did feel like 31 today with the humidity. Now, if we look at our overnight low, we would typically be around 15, but we held on to some of the warmth from Sunday, and a low was 20 degrees, so that does show that we were dealing with slightly warmer temperatures today. Now, we put our futurecast into motion. We can see the system that brought some rain and the risk of thunderstorms to Montreal. We are going to see partly cloudy skies into our early morning hours tomorrow. So we do see a mix of sun and clouds pretty much throughout the day. It is a very straightforward forecast at this time. There are a few spotty showers in the vicinity. I will keep my eye on that, but it doesn't look like Montreal is expecting any rain tomorrow. Continuing to push this forward, we start to see some clear skies overnight as we head into our Wednesday, and we'll see another day where we should be dealing with a mix of sun and clouds. So far it looks like we'll have a nice 2 days ahead. We'll get to the rest in one moment. Overnight, we're looking at 18 degrees as a low, so a little bit warmer than we should be, normally around 15 degrees. 19 to start with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll hold on to that throughout the afternoon. It will feel like 31 with a daytime high of 26. Now, I did mention we'll have nice conditions for Tuesday and Wednesday. Come Thursday, we'll see a risk of thunderstorms there, around 6 millimeters of rain. Friday, lots of sunshine in the forecast, but I also want to point out we're seeing some cooling, 23 degrees. And you'll notice there's not a feels like value, so the humidity is not prominent in our forecast for the coming days. Saturday, calling for a mix of sun and clouds, 24 24 degrees, which we hold on to pretty much until Monday. We could see some showers Sunday evening, around 6 millimeters there. And next Monday, we're calling for a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 24.
Thank you, Lauren. That wraps it up for us tonight. For the latest news, you can listen to the Andrew Carter Morning Show tomorrow at 5 on CJD 800. Thanks for watching. Good night.